I think the chances were very, very good that Robin Williams was demonized, that Robin Williams was afflicted, oppressed by demons, and that Robin Williams himself acknowledged that Robin Williams himself acknowledged that his success as a comic, as a performer, was owed to the spirits that took him over when he stepped on the stage to perform. And in the end, it seems likely that these demonic spirits took him where all demonic spirits, where all emissaries of Satan want to take us, and that is to the place of hopelessness, despair, and death. Now, the world would say he was demon-possessed. Now, I don't use that terminology because it's not biblical. The biblical terminology is demons do not possess us. We possess demons. That's how it's always put in the Gospels. A man is described as having a demon or being demonized, being under the influence or the oppression of demonic spirits. But the way the world would phrase this is, was Robin Williams demon-possessed? And the answer to that question using the vernacular is very likely the answer to that question is yes.
Robin Williams is a remarkable talent, and Robin Williams was always aware of the demons that plagued him and spoke very openly about them. And one thing that he talked about, having had several stints in rehab, was when you battle problems of addiction, just because you've concluded, say, a visit to a rehab facility, it doesn't mean you're done. These things can resurface. Obviously, it seems like, we don't know for certain, things ever resurface in a particularly bad and dramatic way. Robin Williams recently finished a CBS sitcom called The Crazy Ones that was moderately well received, not as I think as big as he had hoped or others had hoped, and there was some discussion of a degree of financial pressures. Obviously, he's had a big career, a lucrative career. He's been married on a few occasions, so I think he had big expenses as well. I think he did the sitcom, the television work, primarily for the money. You mentioned his live appearances, and they are legendary. And these are things where it was really, all going on in his head, and he shared it on the stage with a variety of characters. I've interviewed him several times, and you would have these very quiet moments, and then just this explosion of talent. I mean, he'll very much be missed.
It is that explosion of talent, his eccentric ways that many people know him best for, and indeed loved his style. But Sam, as you were just saying there, perhaps a troubled man in his personal life.
Well, I think he had I think he had his struggles. As I'm speaking to you right now, I know he was married at least twice, probably more than that. He had one acrimonious divorce when he quote unquote fell in love with the nanny. I think what happens sometimes is, and he talked about this very openly during the Mork and Mindy period, he was sort of the struggling performance artist, and all of a sudden, in very short order, he's one of the most popular stars on American television. And, that's a very, very big change, and some people cope with that change better than others, and he himself would tell you that he didn't cope with it very well.
Believe it or not, because like in LA, I mean, you can buy crystals now. I mean, they're selling. But they're selling
different
crystals.
Different
crystals. They're selling crystals on the corner. So are you into the the chanting and the? Oh, I heard you, Jimmy. I'll be back.
Wind it over. Wind it. Finish up with the crystal thing.
Talking about crystals and channeling and all that, where do you think your blessings come from? I mean, or do you think you're blessed because everybody
says... I think it is kind of like channeling. It's kind of like a combination of channeling, possession. I don't know. When you get into a character, it is like that something happens that you don't know where, but it seems to be passing through you.
Yeah. Do you think you're blessed? Or where does all this come from? Touched.
In the old days, this type of blessing, you'd end up being like burned at the stake. He was very funny, but kill him anyway. It's, I don't, try and claim, oh, yes, it's all mine. It comes through you.
As the nation mourns the loss of Robin Williams, his wife says the actor was struggling with early stages of Parkinson's disease when he was found dead earlier this week. Susan Schneider says Williams was also struggling with depression and anxiety, but was sober at the time of his death. She says he wasn't ready to share his Parkinson's diagnosis publicly. Ted Baer of Movie Guide magazine often interviewed Williams. He told the Christian Post he thinks Williams considered coming to Christ while in rehab, but I don't think he had that explicit experience of being set free. Williams told Can magazine back in 2007 that going through rehab affected him spiritually. He said, "You come out of the other side knowing you're not alone, and it gives you a very personal view of God."